Today I wanted to talk about my philosophy on life and how I live my life that's genuinely made me just so much more zen than like a past version of myself. And that philosophy was shared by a YouTuber here on YouTube. Obviously, a YouTuber is on YouTube. A YouTuber called Danique, and she makes a lot of really cool content. I can link her channel below. And she just talks about like spirituality, reality creation, kind of like leaving victim consciousness, which is essentially just like we all have like victim consciousness, but like essentially coming to terms with like the fact that you create your own experience, and that like your higher self, which you can embody, is creating every single experience for you. And so, although your ego might not like how something turns out or how something is unfolding, that's the thing, and that's why I do so much of the spiritual work, and I think why yoga is so beneficial for people and like mindfulness practices is that it's all just chatter and it's stopping you from actually appreciating the moment, living in the moment. And so this kind of way of living that I've been adopting is like, imagine if you had chosen every single moment of your life. And I don't mean like just like one moment or like a handful of moments, like the big ones or like just the wins. Like imagine if you had chosen every single moment, like every single shot, scene of your life. Not only will you appreciate every single scene and shot even more, like an infinite amount of love and appreciation for every single moment, but it also helps you to not be so reactive. And it's totally okay as well to like show emotion. And I think that's like an important balance to have, is like let yourself feel, but you don't actually have to be so reactive about a situation, because if you think of it in that way of like, okay, so my higher self chose this experience for me. This was designed for my highest good. And sometimes it's extremely uncomfortable. Sometimes the situations that your higher self puts you in is so uncomfortable and the ego doesn't like it. Like it threatens the ego, or it forces it to like go inward and like actually take accountability or whatever it may be, do like some learning or whatever. Like there's so many situations in life that are just so uncomfortable. And me personally, like there's so many things even just in the last like few months that have allowed me to like really grow so much, because I, instead of looking at it as like I'm a victim to this and like why is this happening to me, I more so look at it as like, okay, I created this. Okay, this isn't how things were unfolding in my mind, but the mind is a liar. You always try to think one step ahead. You try to think of the future, but that is just completely unrealistic because you don't know. No one knows what will happen. You can't control that, right? So you're trying to control things that are ultimately out of your control. So I think that adopting this mindset has really, really helped me just be more happy and at peace in my life and grateful for even the moments that are like, what is going on? I think it's so important to like try to be as like lighthearted as you can as you go through life, because it's kind of funny when you look back at it. Like some things that have happened in my life as I've like grown older and stuff, like I can look back at them and just laugh because I'm like, this is so hilarious that this is like what unfolded. But at the time, it was like a tragedy for me. You know what I'm saying? Like there's this really cool quote that's like, life up close is a tragedy, but zoomed out is a comedy. Because that's literally what it is. It's literally an experience that you've crafted for yourself, that yourself has crafted for yourself. And so you just shouldn't take it so seriously. You know what I mean? But again, it's like finding that balance of like having like that agency in your life and always having confidence and self-worth and like, you know, just like having fun and that more like yang masculine aspect of yourself. But then there's also the divine feminine yin aspect, which is like just like let go of the need to control every situation and like let go of this need to have things play out the way that you expect them to, because life will always surprise you. You know what I mean? Like, and I think the biggest thing as well is like there are opportunities that like we will miss out on, or, you know, things that like we apply for maybe that we don't get. And like in the moment, our ego is so hurt. Like we're like, oh no, like I really wanted this. I don't know why. Is it me? There's something wrong with me. But then it leads us to another situation, which is actually the plan, which is actually where you're meant to be. And the way that the energetic universe works is just so beautiful and intricate. And it's like not even something that can be described in words of like the technology of this and like the way that it just knows. But I just think that like our egos can actually be so misleading and like cause us suffering, when actually the experience of life, even in the moments that suck or are uncomfortable, the experience of life should be enjoyable. Like there's always a reason as to why something didn't work out or did work out. And we don't know that reason until afterwards, until we get a zoomed out look at it, which is when we can say, I understand, and we have that clarity and that insight. But what if instead of waiting for the zoom out moment, we just understand now? Like, do you know what I mean? I think it has personally brought me so much peace and comfort, and I feel so connected to the goddess within me, to the creator within me, by understanding that there's no room for victim consciousness right now. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, why did this happen to me? I can't believe this happened to me. Of course, sometimes, like, I'm human, so I can say, like, you know, I can get caught up in the 3D of it. But at the same time, it's like, there has got to be a limit to, like, this whole mentality of, like, I'm a victim, because we're not victims. None of us are victims. And yeah, I just like, this is something that I've been working on so much, and I've found tremendous growth in this area of my life. And in like also just having a balance between like taking accountability, but also like standing up for myself in certain situations. You know what I mean? Because I really do think I've found that balance now, because it's like, it's so easy to blame yourself for why things go wrong. It's very easy to blame others, but what if instead you just don't blame anybody? Like, you don't blame yourself because you didn't know any better. You don't blame others because you literally crafted this experience to teach you what it taught you, to get you to feel the emotions that you feel as a result of how things unfolded. So realistically, there's nobody to blame. And so it just leaves you in this space of like peace and like understanding, and like not having that reaction that like in the past I would have viscerally had, like stress and anxiety or whatever it is. And it's like, but even like practicing this way of being at first is a huge shock on your nervous system, because if your nervous system was so used to reacting, if it was constantly going into fight or flight over like any minor inconvenience, it's gonna be confused when you start to like actually pull it back, like shorten that reaction period, like shorten like, do you know what I mean? Just not really emit that like emotion and like that frequency right away when something happens. And like, as I've done this more and more, honestly, since the beginning of this year, it has just made me realize that like, it just really doesn't have to be that deep, and it doesn't have to be that dramatic, and it can be fun. And sometimes the best thing to do in uncomfortable, like bad situations is to laugh. Like, and I know this probably can piss people off if you do this in front of them, but like, I've genuinely had situations where I just laughed because I was like, this is so ridiculous. Like, this is so funny that this is happening. And it could have been a completely inappropriate moment to laugh, but like, life is not that serious. It's never that serious, you know? So go easy on yourself. Find that like childhood spark within you, that inner child within you. And like, remember who you are. Like, you don't need to prove yourself to anybody. You don't need a reason to like exist and be and like to explain yourself. You really don't. Like, you are perfect in this moment. There's nothing that you have to do to gain any type of approval or anything. Like, in this moment, you are perfect and whole and complete. And in every moment, you are perfect and whole and complete. Do you know what I mean? So like, there's nothing to be done, there's nothing to gain, there's nothing to earn, you know? And of course, like, I'm not talking about like, oh, there's like, you shouldn't do anything. Like, of course, like, you'll have dreams and aspirations and all of that, but like, you don't have to rush those things to prove a point to other people. Like, I've definitely been in those situations before where I'm like, damn, I just feel like I should be doing more, you know? I should be doing something big and feel as though I'm really like contributing, and I feel as though I'm like sacrificing myself for capitalism or whatever. But now I'm like, I really don't care. I really don't care, because all of that stemmed from my desire to be understood by other people. But it doesn't matter what other people think of you. All that matters is what you think of yourself. This whole experience is for you to grow and to evolve. Truly, to evolve. And of course, you're going to make mistakes, or you're going to do things that, you know, you're not proud of, but that's okay. That's human. And anyone who tries to shame you instead of like loving you into growth and to evolution is not somebody who is supporting you in a positive way. And you don't need to like take in all the noise from outside, because it doesn't matter. You know, like, it doesn't matter. If you are happy with yourself in your heart, if you feel content and at peace and proud of yourself, then you don't need anybody else to do that for you. It's just not necessary. And then it becomes a bonus. And then when you have that healthy amount of detachment from the result and from other people's perceptions of you, because those are things you can never control, that is when you can actually start to see magic manifest in your life, because you don't have this like need for it anymore. And so people can feel that, and they can feel that confidence, and you radiate that confidence and that wisdom, and that's what's important in life. And I feel like a lot was said in this video, but I guess like the biggest like takeaway maybe from this video, I hope that something here resonated with you. But I think that just in this world, like, I have felt crazy because of the fact that I just want to be happy. And I truly think that everything is a distraction in life, apart from, you know, loving each other and like wanting to understand each other, build community, support each other. Like, everything else is just a distraction. And so if you are living, I guess this doesn't really go with what I was saying earlier, but it's just like a little thing I want to add on. But like, if you are living authentically, if you are living in a way that you're like showing love to people, and, you know, you're rooting for the underdogs, and like just genuinely like radiating light and positivity and just being honest as well, like fully yourself, authentically and unapologetically, then nothing else matters. Nothing. Doesn't matter how much money you make, it doesn't matter what your job is, it doesn't matter where you live, it doesn't matter what color your skin is or what age you are, none of that, how you look, nothing. Nothing matters except for who you are, your soul, like your heart, who you are, and how you treat other people. That's what's important in life. But you might feel crazy in this world to think that, like, to say something like that, because in this world, it's like there's so many distractions, you know? And so I guess that's just like my little spiel on that, and just like wanting more, just like love in this world. And I do have a lot of love in my life and in my reality, and I am so grateful for it. And I think there are so many bright things ahead. But I think we all need this reminder sometimes, because the world is so strange sometimes. Like, life is strange. It's very strange. And yeah, so let me know how you've been. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. If you enjoyed this random spiel, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more content, and I will be on here more now that I've moved and really settled into my space. And I think I will have more free time in the next few weeks. I may explain why in a later video, but there's just a lot going on right now. But I love you so, so much. Have a great rest of your day or night wherever you are, and just be yourself, love yourself. Okay, bye.